Hello all, welcome to Indian Techies. In today's session, we are going to see some programs on two-dimensional array. We have already seen addition of matrices, multiplication of matrices, and what do you mean by a two-dimensional array. Now, we will be seeing different types of programs. Now, first program we are going to see is sum of all diagonal elements. So, first of all, you should know what do you mean by diagonal element. Consider any matrix. The only condition for diagonal matrix is the number of rows and columns of that matrix should be same. That is 3 cross 3, 4 cross 4, 5 rows, 5 columns, 6 rows, 6 columns, 2 rows, 2 columns. The number of rows and columns must be same. Consider the values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a matrix with 3 rows and 3 columns. Now, diagonal elements are this, which I have been rounded up. Okay. Now here, how you can identify diagonal elements technically is the row number and column number. That is, the row position and column position are same. For example, 0th row, first row, second row, 0th column, first column, and second column. Now, if you take this element, it is at 0th row and 0th column. If you take this element, it is at first row and first column. If you take this element, this is at second row, second column. So, if you add these all elements, that is 1 plus 5, 6, 6 plus 9, 15. If you get the result as 15, then that is nothing but sum of diagonal element. Now, we will see a basic example program how to calculate sum of all the diagonal elements. Let us see the program. As usual, hash include stdio.h. Next, void main. Now here I am declaring a two-dimensional array of size 10 rows and 10 columns. Out of this, how many rows and how many columns you want, you can select. That is for rows for m, n for columns. For the purpose of for loop, that is I and j. Now, I have to add all these values and store it in some variable. For that purpose, I am taking one normal variable called as sum. Initially, its value is assigned to 0 since we are adding. Now, out of these 10 rows and 10 columns, first of all, you have to take input of how many rows and columns that you need. That is, printf, enter number of rows and columns. So I am taking input, that is scanf, percentile d, ampersand m, ampersand n. Now after taking input, if I want to calculate diagonal elements sum, first of all I have to check whether the number of rows and columns are same. So rows count is in m, column count is in n. So I am checking the value, that is if m is equal to n. What do you mean by that? Both are same. Number of rows, columns are same, so that we can follow the procedure. That is printf, enter array values. If you want, you can also write number of rows and columns of m and you can ask to enter exact values. For I is equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. Next, for j equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus. Inside this, you are taking the input, that is scanf, percentile d, ampersand a of I, j. Okay, now my input is done. Once the input has been done, what do you have to check? You have to add diagonal elements. So how do you identify that is a diagonal element? If the row and column position are same, then only you can check whether it is a diagonal element or not. Now for that we have to write the logic. That is, for I equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. Next, for j equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus. Here I am writing the condition. That is, here I have to write the condition that I and j should be equal. So what you are going to write? If I is equal to j, that is I position and j position, if both are equal, then what I am writing? Sum is equal to sum plus a of ij. So since they are equal, that value I am adding it to sum. Close for, close for. So whenever both the positions are equal, then only this value will be added to the sum. Right? Now, by the end of this loop, all the diagonal elements with the same position, these values will be added and stored in sum. Once the loop is completed, then how do you write? Printf sum of diagonal elements is equal to percentage d. What is this percentage d? Sum. So close main. This is how we are going to perform sum of diagonal elements. We are not caring about remaining elements. What is my concept? I want to perform addition of all the diagonal elements only. Only the row and column positions equal values only. If it is equal, it will add. We no need to mention what we should do if it is not equal, because we have to add only diagonal. So this condition applies when both are equal and it will be added. So this will be repeated for all the values in the total matrix. If row and positions are same, column positions are same, it will be added. Finally, the value is printed by adding all the sum of diagonal elements. This is how we perform sum of diagonal elements. Next program is on two-dimensional arrays only. That is, we will have multiple rows. I want to print sum of each row. For example, consider a matrix. Here there is no restriction that number of rows and columns should be equal. Now, suppose this is one matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now what I should do is 1 plus 2 plus 3, that is 6. Next 4 plus 5, 9, 9 plus 6, 15. So like this I have to add this total row and I have to print the sum of total row. I am not considering about any column. I am considering about only row. Sum of all the row values. Suppose if 5 rows are there, I need 5 values to be printed one by one. Sum of row 1, this one. Next sum of row 2, this one. Sum of row 3. Like this, each row total if I want to print, how we are going to write a program. Let's see the program. As usual, hash include stdio.h. Next, void main. Next, I am declaring a two-dimensional array of size 10 rows and 10 columns maximum. For this, how many rows and columns you want? That one mn. Since for the purpose of for loop, that is ij. Since I have to print all the sums, initially I am making it as 0. If any other variables we require, we will declare at that time. First of all, take number of rows and columns. That is printf enter number of rows and columns. Now scanf percentile d ampersand m ampersand n. Now we no need to check whether the rows and columns are equal or not, because it can be any number of rows and any number of columns. Now first take input for this, that is printf enter matrix values. So I am writing for loop to take it. So first for loop always takes row input I less than m, I plus plus. Second for loop will take column input, that is j equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus. Inside this I am writing scanf percentile d ampersand a of I j. Close this for, right? So once input has been done, now we will go for the calculation. That is, for I equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. Every time I have to make some value as 0. If you don't write it here also, you can make it some value as 0 here. Now, because I need to add only row values, not the column values. So, I am making before going for column 1. Now, for j equal to 0, j less than n, j plus plus. Here what I am doing is, sum is equal to sum plus a of ij. So what happens when j is equal to 0, I equal to 0, first a of 0, 0 will be added. Next a of 0, 1 will be added. Next a of 0, 2 will be added. Means it will go in a row manner, obviously. So once the row has been added, you come out of this loop and printing that row value. That is printf sum of row percentile d. So what is this percentile d? That is first row I plus 1. Always row number is stored in I. Since we will not say sum of row 0, first row will be always 0th position. I am making it as 1. So 0th row means it will say 1. First row means it will say 2. So for our convenience purpose. And close this for loop. And close main. When I is equal to 0, it will perform, means that is first row, it will add all the first row values and print first row. Again loop goes starting and I becomes 1, again sum becomes 0. Means I am using same sum value for here, but we did not print the sum value. That is sum of percentile d is percentile d. So first percentile d is I plus 1. Second percentile d is sum value. So every time it will print, again it will repeat for next row. Again it will repeat for next row. Like that, how many number of rows are there? That is, how much value you have given in m. That many times this value will be calculated and it will be printed. This is how we will be performing sum of rows of the matrix. Hope you understood the basic programs of two-dimensional array. Thank you for watching Indian Techies. Please like, comment, subscribe and share Indian Techies videos. Thank you.